Hello, World Tour Tubers, and welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy Renaissance with the... Am I really okay calling these guys the Scrub Club? I need a better name for this game. Maybe I'll come up with it before I start uploading these for a better definition. The rejects, the missing link, I don't know. They're not too bad, but you know, Summoner, Ranger. Ooh, oof. So in between episodes, I looked up to remember where the last level 6 spell is. I think I always forget this one. It's accessible as soon as you get the airship. At the same time as Fairy, so there's a reason I think why they're at the same level as Fairy, but it's in a place where you basically would never bother to go until you probably have that waterfall done. So it's, in my mind, kind of closer in power, or in tier to the waterfall summon, which is level 7, which is, I think, what throws me off. And both level 7 summons being basically in the same continent is kind of weird. But then again, I guess both level 6 summons are in the same continent too. So I guess that's okay. But let's make sure it's a bit more efficient. Surely we could have done this before, but hey, let's get this slab dealt with and knock out 2 birds with 1 stone. So welcome back, folks. I'm back to Pixel Remaster music because, honestly, I feel like it's the best blend of not too loud, not too quiet, no lyrics, and more variety than just, like, in-game music. Because once we've played this game 100 times, you know, we've got to mix it up a little bit. Hopefully I've got the volume all right. It's unfortunately been a little bit randomized this run. So how you guys doing? You wanna beat up some zombies or anything? I haven't bought any more scrolls yet. After we do this quest, I'll buy some scrolls. And then we'll go back to Water Shrine and beat up a Kraken. Look at that damage using the fire-boosted whip. Hooray! Ifrit does nothing again. I just have to say it. He didn't do literally nothing, but he did do mostly nothing. Oh, hold on. We've never really tried Odin, right? I believe giants are low magic defense. So in theory... I keep using the wrong item on Aragorn. I mean, we would have killed them by now, but... 3 for 3! You know... I don't actually think Odin is all that bad, but I just wish there was some other mechanic. I think if he just had priority, you know, if he went first on the second turn, that probably... Like, I've talked about this before. I actually think, for me, the balance needs to be Ramuh, Ifrit, Shiva, Fairy. Everything up to level 6 needs to happen the turn you cast it. Maybe at the end of the turn you cast it, but even that's pretty weak. And then Odin... maybe could work like this, but I think what he really needs is priority on the second round. And Leviathan needs something like that. And then Bahamut and Phoenix might need that as well. So like the level 7 and 8 spells, if they just happen at the beginning of the second round, it's still costing you 2 turns, but you're not letting all the enemies get 2 chances. That might be enough for me to be convinced. But as it is, it's nowhere near good enough. And that specifically needs Ramuh, Titan, Ifrit, Shiva to be instant. Because I think actually that's all I'm okay with level 7 and 8 taking 2 turns, even still, even though I would be a little bit salty. But having access to instant damage of a nice variety of elements, at least those 4, maybe probably Fairy as well, honestly. Because if you want the heal to manage, right? If you want the heal to do anything, this needs to happen as soon as you cast it. I think they might even work with casting on the first turn and then having the second turn being lost. So they go first and then you lose a turn, but you keep your enchantments and antis and stuff. Like, that's okay. I think that might be the way I would try. Like, maybe try not to buff it too much. But if you want to keep the damage, like, spell power around that level, it needs something like that. If I could just change the code like that, you know, easy peasy, I would test it out. I didn't buy any fire scrolls. Well, that's That's my bad. I guess we wait 2 turns to kill them. Probably Fire 2 is just a waste when we're doing this. I still think, honestly, Kate Sith still might be better because we would have prevented all that damage on that first round, assuming Kate Sith went off early. So it's still... But if Rin had gone right now, would that have been... That might have been acceptable. Priority on the second turn might be enough. It does do a lot of damage, but, you know, keeping in mind we are pretty high intelligence, reasonably high level. Level 25 is when we get, like, level 8 stuff for slots. And that was an enemy weak to it. And that was a level 5 slot, so that's on par with Fire 3. I think a Black Wizard casting Fire 3 would also probably kill all those Zombols on the first turn. So it needs to do... If you're going to take 2 turns, it has to be better than that, right? Oh, these guys can be interesting for captures. They've got some pretty big spells. Maybe. Maybe I don't try not to kill them instantly. A little bit of damage. Catch them all. Okay. I think the fighter is the one I like the most. Of all the spellcasters I've captured in this game, the fighter version of the Drow is the one that gets the Cure 4 and all that. That might be my favorite. Interesting. But the mages, I think, get the level 3 spells, right? So, unfortunately, it still takes a turn to set up, which means it's a lot like Ifrit, and it will do less damage than Ifrit, because the Beastmaster doesn't have intelligence to... Not the same degree of intelligence, anyway, to buff it up. Definitely taking some hits. I wonder if there's the fighter enemy is in this zone. This is one way of synergizing Beastmasters with Summoners, is having access to interesting catchable monsters in these basically locked areas that you can't get to normally. I think we just run away from this one. Actually, the first round is safe because they cast Rub first, which doesn't work anymore. But they will cast some pretty big spells after. All right, well let's see how this goes. Ah, there's some fighters. Maybe we steal one. See, we definitely could steal one. All right, they get Shadow Nujutsu or whatever. How do we deal with this? They don't have Reflect or anything. Burn them down a bit. Maybe I just try to catch one of these, because we can't fight these again until we get to the top of Sky and the final dungeon. They're pretty hard to run into. They're pretty rare even there, actually. Maybe we go for a Confuse. Yeah, because if they hit each other, that removes their blink. Oof. Should put some defense on Ryu. Okay, we did catch one. That's pretty good. Alright, you gotta defend yourself. You could go for a control, maybe get some enemy spells on them. And at this point, I think I use my limit and some heals up, I guess. I think Odin would probably kill all of the mages and wizards, but I think we need healing right now, so I think I have to go with this. There's a good turn order, at least. Oh, the limit is completely disabled. I didn't think that would... That sucks. That also sucks. Alright. Well... Yeah, the hunter is not doing good in this group against this enemy. I think we just have to go for... We have to kill everything. I don't know. I didn't get my evade up with Ryu before Fenrir got him, so... And we're gonna get AoE down pretty quick now. Might as well try again, I guess. We could check if any elements work on Fenrir. I've been trying to do that when I think of it. No confused, insta-death paralysis. We can slow him, which would half his attack if we can get him. I guess that might be worth a try. He's the one that's going to kill us, I think. Odin first is really lucky. Yeah, that's great. We missed the slow too. He's got his shadows again. We lost the control. I think we take it back. I guess we just break a shadow. Kind of sucks. Regen is on, but the lights are off. I guess if we left the enemy mages alive, we could go and try to reflect their big spells back. That might be a fun way to do this fight. If we, well, we got the control anyway, but honestly, Carbuncle might be a good opener. I could see that. I think we might still win this, as long as the Fenrir decides to fight with the mage. Our damage output is okay, even with Ryu dead. Yeah, that. We lost our control again. The limit is just garbage, right? Yeah, I don't think that's very good. It just gives me one free spell, basically. Like, and people are gonna die again if I don't do something. My mage. I guess Golem, like Stone Skin's okay. All these spells and like none of them seem very interesting. You know? Just use Goblin and Fenrir. Goblin and Kieran. Well, once we get Fenrir, that'll be fine. But okay, you know what? This guy just needs to die. It's getting annoying. We just end up with the same thing: 0 damage, and then we control him. And then he immediately breaks out. Okay. We need to kill the mage. Thank you. 40 damage goblin, gross. Crit. I don't know, my healing, we're running out of healing here too. The Fenrir hits real hard when he punches. Yeah. Oh, is this where we'd lose? Oh man, I don't think I've got any tricks left. I guess we could... Just double check one more time. I think he's immune to paralyzed though, right? There's no use. Yeah. They basically all seem to resist paralyzed, so... Crits is as good as I can get. He already had it. So we can't hit him this turn. That's brutal. He can blink. And that's all we can do is attack twice. Yeah, now he can basically troll me. He can blink and attack and blink and attack, and I can never get him. Wow. Destroyed. Okay, well let's do that again. For some reason, it wasn't letting me talk to this swirl. That's the first summon we failed. On this run, I think. Pretty sure. What other tricks could we pull? Basically, I think defense up on the ninja so he doesn't get punched. Oh, really? Do these need to be here? It's not very many of them, but... They can easily kill someone in 2 hits. Got a miss, that's very lucky. Alright, hope you enjoyed chugging potions. I don't think they needed to add ghosts to this encounter area. That's not necessary. Nightmares are fine, Zumbles are fine, mages and stuff are fine. Not a huge fan of this. Excuse me? The what? Is this secretly an unrunnable fight? That they, like, added in? I don't remember this fight being unrunnable. It must be, though. That's like 4 rounds in a row. Wow! Get wrecked. I mean, they're not incredibly difficult to kill. It's just very frustrating, you know? Very frustrating. Certainly hit pretty hard. That weakness from the scroll, I don't think it works. I've been trying to pay attention to it. Because nightmares are naturally resistant to fire. I'm pretty sure that they ignore the scroll effect, which is really bad for those scrolls. Because they just resist fire. And if they don't get the fire weakness temporarily, then one of the major usages of the scrolls would be to bypass stuff like that. It doesn't even work. The scrolls still deal good damage, but it really limits their synergy in combos, basically. And I was trying to set up cool combos for the summoner, and kind of looks like that's just not going to happen. Did we get ambushed? Seriously? I thought ambushes were illegal. We have a ninja. Ambushes are illegal. I was told. I was promised. Alright, well, let's try to catch one of these again for later. And I mean, there's just nothing the hunter can do. It's basically useless. Kate Sith is still... Well, this or the reflecting strat. Because clearly we're dead if they cast Lightning 3 twice in a row. I liked the idea of them hitting themselves to break all the shadows. That was kind of my hope there. I don't know. I guess we try. I think we're dead again, honestly, because if they lightning us, we're just super dead. So. Oh, come freak on. Breathe, breathe, Blue, breathe. The turn order just got me. Maybe. We've got Carbuncle up. Kieran shouldn't be reflected. I think summons are gotta be immune to reflect. It's great how they're not, casting magic now. Super. I don't think this is gonna work on him. This group is pretty bad. Oh, we did have reflect on. Good. At least using that at the end was the correct turn order for reflect to be refreshed at least. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. I feel like I have no idea what I'm doing right now. Like, I could kill them. Like, Odin worked pretty good last time. I'm trying to... I have to kill Fenrir, but... Maybe with high enough invade on Ryu, he's invincible to Fenrir, because he only does physical attacks. But if it's 1v1, we just lose, because he always blinks up. Which ties dead-end stalemate forever. I don't know. Alright, so clearly we need some AoE. None of this stuff is working. What was Fenrir weak to? Nothing. Of course he's resistant to nothing. Great. I'm just gonna try to slow to him. Didn't work, or maybe I didn't get a chance last time. I don't know. I don't want to use my limit here yet, because it just obviously does nothing, right? I could keep going with Kate Sith. I don't know. Yeah, I guess we're doing damage this time. Slow 2 failed. He wasn't resistant to slow. How did that fail? Like, I guess it's just like a magic defense roll. He does have 200 magic defense. Slow 2 should have a chance. I don't know. Seems like none of my cool strats are working. Gotta kill the fighter, I think. Okay, just you and us. You and me, buddy. I have been hasted. Should do okay damage. Now, if I use my... Well, let's see how Hunter's Mark works. I could use the limit now, though. And, in theory, regen. I think it wore off. Guess that's a lot of damage. But he has double blink again. So that's 1 blink. So maybe don't attack this turn. I mean, depending on turn order, it could work. But let's burn his blink. Set up another crit, maybe. And just do some damage. Okay, this next turn should kill him, I think. Especially if we get the crit off. Of course, the wrong turn order. Perfect. Good job, team. Yeah, I think we just attack. Attackimus Maximus. Do some fairies. I'm sure that'll make a huge difference. I think summoner plus melee. This is where things actually fall apart. I think Dar needs to stop attacking. Honestly, what? How is that? Did I not have evade? I know I got crit, but like 5%, I guess. But 444 damage. That's a crit and a hit. Because his max damage is 194, crit doubles it, ignores your armor. That's 390. Which would have killed me anyway, I guess it doesn't friggin' matter. 1 crit and you're dead. So he's got a 1 in 20 chance just to delete you, basically. Okay, the fairy summon was completely useless. I thought I had Golem on too. What's going on? Did I must have got burned off by then. Yeah, no, we still had it. It was still... Some people still had it. Maybe it got burned off on Ryu, but I think we might have just got crit through Stone Skin and it just did nothing. He's got to be near... Why can I not defeat this one? What is going on? So Golem does nothing. Whoever said Golem is awesome, you take that back. Dart 100% had a stack of Golem on. It did nothing. Absolutely nothing. Well, we die unless I guess we actually try to do a little bit of damage. Put to sleep. Okay, we kill him. Great. Well, boy, this sure isn't making me love the summoner very much. Gotta say, having to do these fights that would probably be easy with anyone not a summoner. This group may have just been particularly bad against the way that fight goes with all the blink and then... But the massive damage, I can't believe none of my defenses worked. Like, it's just rude. I think it's actually faster, as long as you can land here in a reasonable time, to get resurrected from Crescent than Gaia. Even though you can land in Gaia quicker, it's such a long walk to the clinic. Well, hooray! I also used like all my heal potions. At least we have lots of money now. Do you have anything to sell? Yeah. Let's clear up our inventory. Ice sword be gone. Power stick be gone. Stun stick or stun whip be gone. Ancient dagger. I don't care about this stuff. We've got better than a wizard. I don't. Sell it. Pretty sure he can equip a mage staff, right? Yeah. Doesn't really make any difference, but might as well equip the mage weapon, the mage staff, the fireball, the wand of fireball. It's actually not a wand of fireball; it's a staff of fire officially. Pretty sure. Well, I say officially according to Blue. I'm not sure. Actually, Zeus's gauntlet is one of the ones that doesn't have an easy thing. It's probably like a storm giant bracer or something like that. Zeus's gauntlet. There is like a javelin of lightning. Maybe that's what it's supposed to be. Haven't gotten that far on my secondary items for some of the magic items, like what they would be based on. We have lots of Mizus. Some of these elements are also basically trash, especially if the resistance tweak doesn't actually work. Water and wind and especially earth, literally garbage. So a few fires, water is pretty bad, lightning's decent, earth is bad, wind is bad, ice is decent. I'll buy a couple more fire, ice, lightning. But if you can't, it doesn't seem like these work to remove enemy resistances into weaknesses. And if they can't overcome enemy resistances, then they shouldn't. I don't know. It just doesn't seem appropriate to me. Maybe that would be too powerful, but I doubt it. I doubt it. I think if the item says it makes the enemy weak to the element, the next element on the chain, and a lot of times it's like a weird element that is hard to take advantage of, like fire is easy, but then you have to use water. There's very few water spells other than the water scroll. But like if you're going to use Leviathan, you better remove the enemy's water resistance to finally give a pump up there, basically. Because there's so few enemies that are naturally resistant to water. I don't know. Maybe I got a bad take. Well, here's some guys that are weak to fire. Whatever, I'll just cast a couple spells. Can't run, so we have to fight it. Fail. Well, so much for me considering Kate Sith an A-tier spell. It's good, but doesn't work all the time. You know, I think the mage staff should count as fire for attack. Like, you know how I don't have any left, but the effectivity type. I think it should cast fire too, and it should also deal fire damage, right? Like, Yes, that's not how D&D does it, but, you know, it's fine. Mages are never going to do that much damage anyway. Is there anyone else who can even equip it? Sure, the ninja could equip it for a, like, 1/3 power flame sword that you get after the flame sword's obsolete. Alright, let me look at my map. Oh, I didn't check Lefane for treasure either. Oops. Did I miss anything? 5,000 gold and a kaze? Oh, I'll never recover from this financial decision. Nah, we're fine. Okay, let's go. Nega? Sure. I think, controllable. And they do have spells, so theoretically an interesting one for, yeah, they got some magic. You could theoretically capture one. I think there's better things to capture, but it's definitely an option. Enemies that have spells. I keep forgetting, you know, I said, I think in the last episode, I was going to do the pet food quest. The problem is I have to catch a Tyro, and, like, do I really want to do that? This is the reason we kept that Zeus's glove, so. Double cast. So much better than Ramu. Because we actually delete these things on the first turn. Therefore, stopping them from getting attacks, saving us time and HP and resources. I think if you had a single solo Beastmaster with this whip, can you control multiple enemies at a time? Because I know you can't use the control command while something is already controlled. But if you're just attacking, surely, right? There's a water bracer at the bottom left if you want to not equip a pro ring and have protection from water. And there's a pure potion in there if you really want it. And there is... where is this? Nothing here. And there is a heal potion right here. A super heal, that is. And we're at the treasure floor. Okay. Definitely some things to pick up on this floor. Scroll. There it is. I mean, I usually do a full clear on this one just for funsies. So I guess I will. I suppose now that money is relatively infinite, for this group at least, we don't need to buy level 8 spells. I should probably use, like, lightning scrolls whenever I want down here. And the ninja will feel a lot better if you don't have to worry about limitations like that. Like, water elemental's pretty weak to ice, so you could definitely use those ice ones, right? They are controllable. Turns out the ice scroll was a complete waste as usual. Well, with a small, it's not as usual, but as usual for there's only a couple enemies around, and if you go last, you know, it feels bad, man. We do want that. It's much better than an opal shield. Should have sold that, I suppose. Okay, now we've got something that the summoner can actually do. They can just buff the ninja. Hooray! You know what? I don't know if it'll kill everything, but throw that lightning scroll if you get a turn. It does not kill them on New Game Plus. On normal mode, for sure. So this is the problem, right? Lightning is effective against most sea creatures, but the lightning scroll afflicts earth weakness. However, this is I think why I thought it worked this way, because it's like the designer made the next scroll something that normally enemies that are weak to that first element typically resist, because most water enemies resist earth, of course. So I thought for sure the fact that it says now lowers their resistance against earth, like that's meant to work on water creatures, so suddenly you can hit them with earth if you can pull it off. I think you can see that with all of them, right? Like fire, enemies that are resistant or enemies that are weak to fire when you would want to use this are ice enemies, typically, or undead. I guess ice enemies theoretically might resist water. I don't know. It's kind of a weird one. Water enemies that are weak to water is literally just golems who are resistant to lightning, so that would bypass it. This is what I just said, but most of the sea enemies weak to lightning, resistant to earth, so this would bypass it. Weak to earth is basically nothing. Like, literally. But I guess maybe it works against nothing. No, I don't know. That's dumb. And then weak to wind is also nothing, except for a couple undead, who generally resist ice, at least. And then resistant or weak to ice would usually be fire enemies, who now become weak to fire, right? Like, that's kind of what I was thinking. Most of them kind of make sense like that. It's not perfect. If you just cut out earth and water, basically. Stuff that no one is weak to. Oh, I'm so glad I have a third light axe. Light axe gang, rise up. All my homies use light axes. Here we go. That's what we really want. It will replace... I do think, overall, as much as I complain about the summoner, they will have access to Phoenix eventually, and they can be interrupted in their summons, so not being paralyzed here is... They probably get about as much value from a ribbon. Plus, they have the least HP, so less damage and resistant to the things that can interrupt them. It does make sense, even if I don't like them very much. Ooh, these lobsters. I'm so used to the menu organizing that when you add those heal 2 potions, it really throws off my menuing for accessing the pure potions. Okay, final dungeon, or final floor. We can get our summon off, and there's basically nothing down here we care about for loot. I think there's... Hooray. But I suppose we might as well do the summon fight here while we're here. I don't think we're going to run out of resources or anything. I don't remember if there are ghosts on this floor. I don't think so. There are definitely water elemental packs, which are probably the most annoying. In that you can't run from them, and they have a lot of HP and hit hard. Alright, here we go. Ooh. There's definitely some custom battles in these astral realms that I still haven't seen. I mean, I think big eyes are weak to lightning, right? They must be. And wind. Why? Here, we'll do wind. We'll use the Kaze scroll. I'm probably pronouncing it correctly, right? Still, K-Sith is probably the best we can do on turn 1. These things don't really do a lot of damage, but they're annoying, you know, if they paralyze you, which they don't do super often either. But... So they're all confused. I think we just hold A to win. I gotta say, Ryu's damage still isn't really impressing me, but that was over 10,000 XP, so that is a pretty good fight for value. Sure. I can't turn down all these Gershark XPs. I am definitely disappointed in ninja damage on this run, though. Okay, let's fix that. There we go. Just one use of that and we're good, basically. Yeah, that's the real summoner use, is just casting items. It's a real shame that seems to be my fallback is, well, at least they can use Power Glove. Might as well have no class, just be a freelancer. This fight is a nope. It's a big nope burger. That's just too many lobsters. there... I didn't, like, forget to equip something. 55 absorb? No, it's just new game plus damage. Just felt like Ryu's getting smacked around like crazy, but... Lobsters get a lot of attacks, and his evade isn't actually very good, as it turns out. It's kind of a shame. Alright, here we go. Unrunnable, so throw some ice damage, probably. Can control them, and confuse them. 3 for 3 on the confuse, good, good. Control works, nice. And yeah. Maybe I'm used to like ninja katana damage rather than ninja with defense sword damage. It seems like it's not doing enough. Well, Leviathan time. Let's see if I can remember how his resistances work. Obviously weak to lightning again. Immune. Innate trait should just say immunities, honestly, because there's two things that say resist, and it just mixes me up. Probably you guys too. Immune, confusion, paralysis, silence, sleep. Notably not stone. Assuming, because that's what killed one of the summons, Odin, I think, right? So that's a way to get him to... Well, no, he has the elemental resistance to stone. So you would need to X for him for that to work. Assuming you can do that. Status, poison, death, stone, water, fire, and then all the innate traits. Yeah, pretty hard to get any good statuses, I think. Right, and a million waters. That's brutal. I do have a fighter, right? But I think turn 1, we just need to stop the bleeding. If we can get a control off, that's good. And... I don't know, it's useless. Let's just do some damage, I guess. And we gotta hope for some muddles early on. Good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of 6. Nice. Yeah, so ice here makes them weak to fire, except that they resist fire, which means I don't think it actually works. That's pretty good damage. Nice crits on the rapid fire. We are going to get absolutely destroyed by whatever his next ability is, though, if we don't have some magic resistance coming up. I think I just throw another ice. That might be enough to kill them. And although my guy is almost dead and will definitely die... Oh, you can't summon? I guess that's understandable. I was going to summon the fighter this turn, but I cannot. Huh, I guess that's fair. Just annoying. I need to kill these water elementals. And... I guess it's better. A little bit of healing or some immunity to physical. Probably let's go with that, I guess. Whew. Would have been nice if we'd cast that a little earlier, huh? Okay, we managed to take out the waters. We do have Fenrir, and that's a long-term buff. Like, that stays on. I think it's time for some fast... And can't really do anything. Hunter's Mark, maybe. And I guess get some regen on if you get a chance. Probably dead. Ooh, that worked out. Leviathan decided to smack the water. So I think we have all of our blinks on, but if he does his big, you know, water, whatever it's called, the tidal wave, of course, that's gonna be brutal. I will call my friend now. Even though this fight's mostly over, I think. And... he is weak to lightning, so in theory, Ramu at least buffs our... like, enchant lightnings us if I get good turn order. There you go. Assuming we don't die. Yeah, 999, that's pretty good. Alright, so this guy's got all his magic. We could go wall on one of the team that has no ribbon, like yourself. And another crit. 100 damage Ramu. That is so bad. Like, that's... It almost feels like it's not working right. Like, he's weak to lightning. I mean, yes, magic defense is fairly high, but he's weak to lightning. That was a lightning elemental spell. He would have had to save for half damage, which shouldn't happen very often when you're weak to it. And even with all of our intelligence and stuff, which is pretty high on a summoner, adding to the adding to the saving throw DC in D&D terms, he still passed it, took half damage, and then even though it's like a summon tier spell with 24% bonus damage or something, 100 is basically nothing. Now the enchant lightning still made a difference there, I think, so it wasn't just the summon damage, but if I hadn't had a fasted ninja that had an auto crit from Aragorn, we lose that fight. That's weird. I mean, it proves how the ninja works, like, needs a little bit of help, basically. The ninja is strong, but he's not a fighter, he's not a dragoon, he's not a death knight. He does need some support to get his damage high enough to kill stuff, especially on New Game Plus mode. And this team, I think, because we get the auto crits, I think it just has enough value. And the enchant spells, I guess if you think of the summons as AoE enchants that don't last very long, I still don't like the randomness of the turn order, because if the ninja goes first, then you cast Ramu, then it's too late. And you kind of miss out on it. So I do think some priority on some of those summons would maybe that would swing me a little bit in their favor. Either the first turn or the second turn or both. Because then you could reliably, like, set somebody up. If the damage of the spell is going to be that, like, that didn't even touch him. 100 damage. We could do that with a Zeus's Gauntlet. And that doesn't get affected by your intelligence at all. Alright, I will play it a little safe and try to defense up on Ryu. I'll just summon my friend. And I will... Oh, I wish I had some of those arrows. This is where slow shot would be so good. Anyway, normal bosses don't get immunities, so we can play. The summons actually make the most difficult of the encounters, and the fact that they resist so much or are immune to so much really kind of messes with what the usual plans are, basically. Still confused. Might as well, I guess. My only access to invisible. We don't need to paralyze anymore. We did get Kate Sith up. I suppose Fenrir makes us mostly immune to him for a couple turns. If he manages to break out. And I think Ryu will be doing pretty well now. An auto crit. I could give him lightning enchant again, or I could just make him permanently stronger if you get turn order. I have a feeling it's funny that Kraken kills himself. That's good. I have a feeling 2 uses of Power Glove are probably better than enchant, taking advantage of elemental weakness. I could be wrong, but Power Glove is like a permanent bonus. It's pretty good. Wow, so much for beating the game today. Our clear rate on this group needs a bit of work. Clear speed's a little low. We got stuck on Fenrir for a while, so that's enough. definitely use a few heal potions to get through. Alright, so we have... I didn't even use... I mean, there's no use... We get this Leviathan there. There was no way that this would have helped us in that fight. I guess if one of these gave us a water... Okay, Ramu gives you a water, so this was definitely the one to use against Leviathan in the fight, because it would have helped us a lot against his AoE attacks, but only if you keep casting this over and over again and you get good turnover. I think the A water maybe should just be permanent. Like until maybe it's like only one at a time. It can be overwritten by a different summon. That would also be a small buff that would help. Honestly, I don't think those are so powerful that they should even wear off at all. Honestly, maybe the enchants, you can only have one enchant access at a time, but even then, it's not that big of a deal. If you manage to spend 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, even this one, I mean, resist KO, maybe that's a little bit stronger, but any of the elemental ones, if you spent 12 turns using each summon once, all the spell slots, all the time, and you had kind of like Excalibur tier effectiveness where it was effective against any weapon, any enemy practically, and you had kind of like a pseudo ribbon where you resist all the elements. So, that's 12 turns. The fight is so over by then. Like, if that was your strategy to kill Chaos, that's fine. Like, I don't think that's... Like, we don't need to make that worse. Like, that's... Sure, go for it. Like, I feel like it's so bad. I don't understand the balancing. The damage isn't that high. Really, it's not that high. Especially on stuff like Titan that nothing's weak to. You can't take advantage of the weakness. And it's kind of the same thing with Leviathan. The base power is good, but 2 turns means it has to... What? Level 7 is Ice 3. That's, what's the power on Ice 3? 100 and... I think 160? I think it would be 160 in this mechanic. Two casts of Ice 3 would be better than 1 Leviathan, right? Fairy is a bit worse. I think this is Lightning 3, which would be 140. Again, 2 casts of Lightning 3 would be better. These ones are at Fire 3 tier, which I believe is 120. Or 100, maybe. I can't remember. Maybe it is 100, 120, 140. It may be exactly double. I can't remember. But that's bad. If it's exactly double, but it takes 2 turns to get it off. I mean, you're just saving spell slots, but you're doing basically the same damage, but not up front. So, you know, I feel like it needs to be like 50% stronger than the equivalent black spell. And when you're using elements that have no... Like, there's basically nothing that's weak to it, you need an even higher multiplier for that, because most of your magic... I mean, at least the way I play. I don't know how you guys play, but I almost never cast spells if the enemies aren't weak to it. And that's the fun of Black Mage, right? Like, if Ankylos are now weak to water or something, then sure. If you can add enough water weaknesses, yeah, sure, there are. So, like, if there are a decent number of weaknesses basically on every single enemy, then they can all do average damage, and you just pick the one that the enemies are weak to, and that's pretty cool. That's a fun little mini game, I think. I think most people enjoy stuff like that. At least I do. But just trying to balance, like, in terms of damage, you know, how often do you use the wrong spell, right? The one that they're resistant to or the one that they're neutral to? Against, normally Ankylos aren't resistant to anything, so you just use your strongest spell. But I think it's better if most enemies have a weakness. That makes it more engaging. I actually think that's a good... That would be good for Renaissance to focus on, is give all enemies at least one weakness to an element, even one of the new ones, but then make sure all the new elements have, like, reasonably good accessibility. And that would be fine, yeah. Anyway, look at me just rambling around. It's already 55 minutes in, dang. We can probably clear Mirage, at least, get some loot, and then save after that. Mirage? That's... It's that time of this episode. Blue stops being able to speak coherently. Vorpal's sword also needs a little buff. I like the Snicker Snack, but the crit's not high enough. If you want this guy to be a contender, double its crit at least. At least. Heal hat, right. Probably don't need that. Beastmaster sword. Can the Beastmaster use the Beastmaster sword? I think so. If you want better damage, technically there it is. Can anyone use the Aegis shield here? I'm gonna say doubtful, but I don't really need 2 Zeus's gauntlets anyway. So let's find out. Yeah, not a huge surprise. And nothing really does wind damage, so garbage. In terms of bonus loot, basically nothing. Let's just get out of here. Ooh, some chimeras, sure. Weak to ice? Sure. Controllable. Confusable. Also weak to ice, resistant to fire, so the resistance that it gives them, or the weakness that gives them, may not even apply, right? Like, once again, every time you get a scroll that... maybe I'm misunderstanding that, to be fair. Like, I'm not 100% sure. Do we need to heal our... No, our fighter is at full health. I was thinking... Because I have to summon him and then call him back to heal him. It's another pain. Another thing that's too much hassle, really. Reasonable damage, nothing crazy, but... Hey, we got a fang! Vampires have fangs, guys. I guess I need to do more just random attack battles. And hope that Aragorn gets a kill and gets more fangs, not blood. Blood doesn't matter. I am somewhat nerfing my my ranger by not farming up those arrows, but you have to understand, this is how I normally play, and I don't think you should expect players to go farm 99 fangs on imps just to use a class feature. I don't know how other people play, but I have a hard time imagining most people have enough fangs without grinding to make any decent number of arrows, really. Like, it's not really hard. Like, you know, I'm not saying that's like a difficult thing to do, but it's pretty boring. Let's do some Ifrit, right? We got a crit kill there. That's pretty good. One shot. So we got our fire bonus because of Ifrit. You know, it's killing stuff. But these are, like, not amazing physical characters, just sort of mid-tier. And we still kill 60% of the vampires before Ifrit finally pops off, right? Like I said, Fire 3 would have just killed a few. Or weakened them enough that our team would have killed more. You know, I'm sure I've spoken about it enough at this point, but... It just seems like these summons are not enough. Also, part of the issue is, like, the enchant bonus isn't very big. Like, an enemy... Your weapons being thunder elemental, these enemies are weak to thunder, lightning, whatever. It helps, but it's not like you're doing double damage. Fast would be better. And especially because it doesn't last the whole battle. Like, it's already gone. I'd have to cast it again to get the enchantment back. And that, I mean, you can see, sure, these guys have a lot of armor. If you don't get a crit, you don't do very much damage, sure. The End Thunder definitely gave them a little boost, you know. Maybe more than a little boost, even. Then again, this fight I normally just run away from anyway, so I just wanted to try out some more summons. And it didn't kill everything either. Like, so on New Game Plus, one of the things is like, well, the enemies have a lot of HP, so use the summons that do more damage, double damage, and then you just kill everything. For whatever reason, I'm not actually impressed by the damage that much. You know? That was a crit. That was just a free control. And another crit. I mean, we have like a 50% crit rate or something on that guy. So again, there's a wasted Shiva, sort of, depending on how you think about it. Yeah, 60% crit, sorry. It should happen most of the time. Alright, we've got a bunch of special gear. The ninja can use sun swords. That's possible. Depends on our hit rate. Actually bad. We get, at this moment, we do get 4 attacks. So we want to use that for a little bit longer. And I guess I never even really thought about it, but yeah, you can equip the light axe. It's a pretty good weapon for Beastmaster if you're not doing whip strats. I guess the beast sword does beat it out, but that's about it. Ooh, yeah, I was hoping he could equip it. That's sweet. So a nice little sneaky benefit of the Beastmaster is you can equip the dragon armor. Not the Aegis shield, though. So you're not going to get, like if you only get 3 ribbons, which, spoiler alert, we might get more than 3 ribbons eventually. But normally, this would give the Beastmaster that somewhat protected pseudo 4th ribbon. Not as good as an Aegis shield knight, but not too far away. There is also the red shirt. I'll pick it up. I still have never had a thief plus red mage party because it's pretty specific. And it's kind of a pain to even get, honestly. It's out of the way here. Alright, Chimera. Just hold A to win. How's this looking? 4 attacks, 140. Not amazing. I still think most of the time Aragorn should still be going for crits. It's kind of funny. Or like the giving other people crits. So there you go. That's a red shirt. Resist lightning, poison. You can use it to cast slow too. So if you have a thief, it does give you access to another reasonably decent spell. Kind of like white shirt, black shirt. But it's only equipable by a red wizard, I think. Which is kind of weird. I find it very strange that there's a red wizard special armor. But you need a thief. And also there's no blue wizard, time wizard, green wizard. Like all the other unique classes don't get any, right? It's kind of weird. Yeah, I think Hunter's Mark, honestly, if the ninja goes and gets a crit here, wow, this is why I'm not targeting very smartly. It's my bad, but. Yeah, 400 damage. It's not bad. 470 is even better. So the control is doing more potential damage depending on the enemy you control. Sure, this kind of fight's probably worth some XP. Just get rid of the stone bird, I guess. I mean, I'm gonna be leaving anyway. Let's use a limit for fun. I still haven't really used the summoner limit much. Let's try. I need to fight something stronger. I need to set up their 2-turn summon, and then I'm pretty sure I've tried this before. If the limit lets you cast the same summon again, but with no charge time, then I might think the limit was okay. Still not amazing at that point, but maybe we'll try it out on a T-Rex or something. I don't think we're going to get the pet food quest. I have to spend so much time grinding. Like, anything that requires hours of random grinding, that's a pretty major downside for your utility. I have to dock the Beastmaster some points for only getting access to one of his class core abilities via a rare encounter in the desert. It's possible we would have got him, but possible. Actually don't want to attack here. I want to test out this limit. So we're going to go. We'll just see how much damage Leviathan can do for fun. Should be good. $188. Not amazing. Tyrells aren't like immune or resistant to water for some reason, right? That just means he resisted, but I mean, 180 damage, he's got no weakness or resistance, just tons of magic defense. So, obviously not a great start to that Leviathan. Certainly was stronger in Final Fantasy 4 and 5, and 3, and 6, and 7. Well, I guess he wasn't in 6. I think he was in the remake, the GBA one, right? Or something. I'm trying to remember where he came from. So the question is, if we go limit... Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, it did go immediately. Okay. It's still pretty bad. That's still not very good. Right? The damage was not amazing. And you still have to charge 2 turns and then you just get to cast 2 in a row, basically. Like, it's better than I thought, so sorry for misleading you guys by saying it probably takes 2 turns to charge, but you can only do that once per dungeon, normally. And, I mean, the idea is to kill them all with something like Odin. So, or your summons would do enough damage to kill everything anyway, because you're already wasting a turn. When would doubling it ever matter? I mean, I guess if you can get over halfway killed, like, if you were fighting enemies with a ton of HP and these spells could do over 50% of their HP, and then it would take 3 turns to kill them all, but only if you use your limit, otherwise it takes 4 turns. Like, that would save you a turn. But it only saves you the 4th turn. That's pretty far in to be... Now, I think this gives it priority. So it does happen at the beginning of the turn, maybe? And that helps. That's like... If it is guaranteed to go first in the combat order, that's a buff. I'm trying to think of how to grade this. The problem is it always happens after you do a summon. You have to do something, and then you're allowed to do it again. And any normal summon, you just cast again. It just saves you 1 slot. Like, you would never want to use that limit on Goblin or whatever, because unless you're running out of spell slots, that doesn't do you any good. And you can only do it once, so whatever. So that means you can do a slow summon twice in a row. But... Okay, hold on. Sciencing. What happens if you just start the battle? Does it remember what you did last battle? No. Okay, that would be better if the limit remembered the last summon you used. Let's say you killed a group with Bahamut. Then you could open with Bahamut on the beginning of a turn, beginning of another fight. That might be like... And I still... Yeah, I would say at that point the limit would be usable pretty often. Right? Like, that would be okay. That's not too strong, is it? You can still only get to use it once per dungeon. I don't think that would be broken at all. I think that would be much more of a strategy where you use a summon. Maybe you don't even use another summon because you're like, I'm gonna hold, like, I used that Bahamut, I only have a couple spell slots of it. I'm gonna save that for my limit, so one bad encounter we can just blast them on turn 1 right away. I feel like that would add some tactical utility to the summoner. At least one encounter you just nuke. You feel like a black mage once. You have to set it up and use a limit, but at least for one battle, you do like a double damage nuke. Right off the bat. Beginning of the battle. Yeah. I think that feels more like a limit to me. Anyway, I'm going to buy a bunch of Ninja Scrolls. And I will see you guys next episode for definitely the last one. We're already an hour and 10. But I've done half of the final, or the sky. I just got to go zoom through Mirage and then deal with sky. We should be alright. Level 29. Levels are probably decent at this point, mostly. As much as I've been griping about some of our group, maybe I will grind a few arrows. I gotta get some fangs. I hate it. I hate it. But I can't really show off what the archer does if I don't get a few arrows. And I think I've made my point that if you don't specifically farm for materials, you just don't get enough. And that's not I'm not a huge fan. I mean, you could just, you know, you could press square and hope you get the, you know, some lucky drops, right? Can I not? Oh, I'm on the wrong guy. Can you do it in the town, actually? That's one thing I'm curious about. What happens if you... No sign of monsters. Okay, so... Oh, you know what? That's secretly a way to tell if this is a no encounter tile. You can look up guides, but if you're trying to find a path that has no enemy encounters, look, all of these tiles right here on the way to the boat, you will never fight anything on. Normally, I am aware, like, these dock tiles, you'll never get a fight, but I wasn't sure if all of these were, like you could walk back and forth here forever and never get in a fight. And okay, this is silly, but there's a utility there. Sort of. But over here... Wow, there's a lot of tiles that have no battles. There you go, that's the one that has it. So, I don't know what the fastest way is to grind fangs. The imps are going to run away. Maybe it's literally using rapid fire. Oops, I didn't need to use the mage staff. I was mistaken. Okay, hold on. But like, let's find out. Because if you can go back to the inn and get your charge back immediately, this might get me 4 fangs at a time. If we get a turn, at least. Okay, that's dumb. Why is it so hard to get these stupid fangs? So you have to kill them with an attack only. So dumb. Does anyone really want, like, enjoy this where you just... Okay, I got 1 fang. Oh, I got another fang. I can make 2 arrows now. Oh, 3 arrows. 4, 3.5, 4 arrows. 5 arrows. Oh, it's coming along now. Nope. 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 Yay! Yay! Oh no, we have to fight. Okay, we gotta make sure we get the archer to get kills. Only the archer can give us fangs. Hey, we got 1 more fang. Alright, good job, team. Like, I know it doesn't really take that long, but... Gotta forgive me, guys. It's so boring. I've already done this, like, twice. I'm gonna end the episode here. I'll get a few fangs. I'm not sure how long I've got left in me to grind for stupid fangs, but... I also don't know how many, like, I haven't got a lot of other mats in general, so... I would like to have... Yeah, a couple of these. A couple of these. 1 of those, I guess. Is there anything that flies that matters? It's pretty weak. I guess I'm probably not going to be grinding for more arrows, because I don't care. I don't, like, I can get the fangs, obviously, but I'd have to go hunting down, like... It's just too much hassle. I'm sorry, ranger lovers. Arrows need to be, like, not that hard to get. I'm going to end this here. I'll buy some scrolls. It's no big deal. I got some money. And I'll see you guys back for the finale of the Scrub Squad. Definitely Scrub Squad at this point, I think it's safe to say. The ninja's good, but doesn't deal enough damage. The Beastmaster's pretty good, but managing your Pokemon is kind of a pain. And then the catch a Tyro and buy food is kind of way too annoying. Materials on the Archer are dumb. Arrows are pretty good, but too much hassle to get. And then his basic damage sucks. Summoner, got some good summons, and then a bunch of damage that doesn't work, really, most of the time. One of the scrubbiest squads I've had, for sure. Thanks for watching, that's it. I'm done. Blue out.